Hello and welcome to Metpro Insights. My name's Jake Rudge and I am the marketing manager here at Metpro. Joining me today to cover the topic of surface coatings is Mike Holmes, who is our product and vendor development manager. So, Mike, what we're going to be doing today is talking through several of the most prominent surface coatings which customers and their customers can find on a range of different products. So let's dive right in. The first one being hot dip galvanizing. Okay, Mick, so hot dip galvanizing, what is it?
Hot dip galvanizing is a zinc-rich finish where the product is dipped and coats the entire exterior of the product, giving a really good non-corrosion finish.
Okay, and what would you typically use hot dip galvanizing for, as in what environments as well?
Hot dip galvanizing is used mainly for external use. It offers a strong protection against weather and salt spray and all the things that would cause corrosion on a product.
And then for the benefits of people watching, what's the easiest way to identify a hot dip galvanized product?
They tend to have a matte finish to them, and you can see as well the outside. It would not be as smooth as some other finishes, but it coats like a paint.
Okay, now Nick, you've picked up one of our malleable conduit boxes. One of the big questions that we have had, certainly over the last 12 months, is why are Metpro malleable boxes so shiny?
Well, on this particular box, once the cast is done and most of the machine work is done, we then dip it in hot dip galv to give it the non-corrosive finish. That tends to then cause a problem. If we had threads already cut on the product, the galvanizing paint would fill those threads and cause a problem. So we can't do any of the threading on this until we've already galvanized it. At which point then the threads are then added, machined, but that effectively then takes those areas down to raw material. So with Metpro products, we then flash this product with a zinc flash finish, which covers the entire box, giving the more silvery look, but also creates a zinc flash on all these exposed areas as well and gives them protection.
Okay, so I guess the reason we don't apply this zinc finish to our Conlock product then is because as they don't have threaded spouts, you're not stripping away the finish of hot dip galvanizing, therefore you don't need the additional zinc.
That's exactly correct.
Okay, the next finish that we're going to cover is pre-galvanized. Now, this is typically seen as a bit of the antithesis to hot dip galvanizing. So again, if you can take us through, please, Mick, what is pre-galvanized?
Well, pre-galvanizing, in essence, is the same thing, but it's done on the raw material before it is then produced into the product you want to make. So, for instance, if you take this sheet here, the sheet itself is pre-galvanized in its large form, but then after that, we then crop it, punch it, put shape into it, and all those areas where it's cut are then exposed material. But the main body of the product is a pre-galvanized finish and has protection on the main body. Pre-galvanized does also offer a more aesthetic finish. It's much more even and smoother, and so in relation to the hot dip galvanizing, it does look a lot smoother and a nicer finish.
And I suppose that we can see this here in the difference between our tubes. You've got your hot dip galvanized here versus your pre-galvanized at the back.
Yes.
Okay, now pre-galvanized, where would you typically use this finish?
Pre-galvanized is used primarily for internal use. It doesn't have the same level of corrosion resistance as hot dip galvanized. It's still very good, but really we would advise internal use. It is perfect for that environment.
In terms of the look of pre-galvanized products, what should people be looking out for?
On pre-galvanized, you'll get a much shinier finish. Sometimes it can be what they call a spangled finish, but it's all about the raw material and the coating that was put on at that time. So it is much more aesthetic. You can see on this product here, a really smooth, shiny finish.
Okay, moving on, BZP, otherwise known as bright zinc plated. If you could please tell us, what is this finish? What are the properties of it?
Bright zinc plated really is an electro-plating finish which is applied to give a coverage of steel and cover all the raw edges as well as the main body of the product. It's very aesthetic. It gives a nice bright finish and gives a good general protection. It's mainly used for internal use, again, because it doesn't offer the same heavy corrosion resistance as hot dip galvanized, but it's perfectly good for internal use.
So when people come to install, say, a conduit tube system outside, they should be opting more for hot dip galvanized products?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so the next surface finish we're going to cover is one that's been having a bit of a renaissance over the last few years, and that is black products. So the product I'm holding here is one of our black U boxes. Mick, again, if you wouldn't mind taking us through black finish, what's it for?
Well, the black finish historically was the cheaper option of all of the finishes because it provides the least amount of corrosion resistance. As things have moved on and products being supplied, the cost effectiveness of the black finish has eroded. It's now, in many cases, more expensive than a hot dip galvanized finish. So the need for buying it for that reason has gone. However, the renaissance you talk about is more about aesthetics. People are starting to expose conduits and trunking and wiring accessories within buildings. It's becoming far more seen. And so we're seeing now things like the black finish for the aesthetic point of view is being used quite a bit. We're even seeing companies using this product and getting it powder coated to umpteen different various colours and colour coding within the building scheme as well.
Yeah, you're quite right. I mean, I've noticed this in coffee shops, shopping centres, even in a tattoo parlour that I go to as well. Yeah. So Mick, in terms of usability for black finish products, where would you typically use them?
We would recommend that they're used for internal use only, purely because, as I said earlier, the corrosion resistance on them is the lowest of the finishes.
Now, is that also applicable to other products? Say if somebody took one of our hot dip galvanized boxes and said, I want this to a RAL colour, which is a green, same thing, only use inside?
No, because it's the protection that's underneath the finish. So the hot dip galvanized product can be used externally. If you put something on the top of that, it can still be used externally because it has that corrosion resistance underneath it.
So it's all about the base material?
Correct.
Now, we've talked about hot dip galvanizing and how this is the preferred product for use in external environments. However, we do have a product within our range, in our Demon Kato range, called Rapid Saddle, which due to the design of it, we've had to go and find an alternative to this. So the finish we're going to talk about next is Delta Protekt 120. Mick, again, please take us through what this finish is.
Delta Protekt 120 is a zinc flake finish. In essence, it provides a thinner finish than hot dip galvanized, so it can be used with threaded areas without clogging up the threads, but offers much greater resistance to corrosion than, say, the bright zinc plated product. This can be used outside. It is salt spray rated, so again, you've got a product here now that really offers the same as what the hot dip galvanizing products have. Just to finish on the Delta Protekt 120, the reason why we went for that finish on this product was because its alternative for external use is a distant saddle. It's a much heavier cast product that can be hot dip galvanized. We felt that if we could apply the finish to the Rapid Saddle, then we had a cheaper, more effective option that gave equally as much corrosion resistance as the hot dip galvanized distant saddle product.
And it's probably worth mentioning as well, Mick, that the salt spray test that you noted earlier, Metpro does have full certification to that, to 500 hours plus?
Yes.
So the last category we want to cover is non-coated products. Now, although they don't feature an additional surface coating like the other products we've talked about today, it's still relevant as people should know where to install them, what they should be looking out for. So we've got a brass coupler here. Mick, can you take us through some of the self-colour finishes you can see here?
Well, basically brass is the main one. For mechanical and electrical industry, brass products are used throughout all the wiring arrangements and setups. By the very nature of brass, it is non-corrosive, so it doesn't need any finishing applying to it. That's why it's supplied in a self-colour finish.
Is there any issue with brass being used externally?
None.
Okay, Mick, thanks for your time today. We've certainly covered a lot, and we hope it's given some insight to anybody watching, what surface finishes are out there, what you should be looking for, and also where they should be used. If you would like any further information on the products we've shown here today or the surface coatings we've discussed, please contact our team who'll be happy to help. And we hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks a lot.